Summer of 2009, a team from Naval Special Warfare Development Group, otherwise known as SEAL Team 6, was tasked with assaulting a large Taliban compound located 8,000 feet up in the central Afghanistan mountains, about 2 hours south of Kabul. The team of DevGru operators arrived on target via helicopters late that night, but as they approached the compound, their aerial drone overhead spotted 8 hostile fighters run out of the compound attempting to escape. Unfortunately for the enemy, they couldn't see the IR laser coming down from the drone overhead, tracking their every move. As soon as the helicopters touched down, Naval Special Warfare operator Matt Bissonette and his team took off after the runners while the rest of the assault force hit the compound. The team was quickly able to get eyes on the 8 hostile fighters thanks to the IR laser tracking them from above. The enemy was heading straight for a ridge line about 300 meters north of the compound. Once they got on the other side of the ridge line, the operators would lose line of sight, but instead of continuing to run away, once the enemy reached the ridge line, they turned around and set up a firing position to fight off the DevGru operators, which turned out to be a terrible idea. Bissonette quickly shouldered his rifle and engaged the enemy. He struggled to steady his aim after sprinting towards the enemy in full kit, not to mention he was still getting used to the high elevation of the Afghan mountains. Regardless, he was able to lock in on a fighter with a PKM machine gun and squeeze off multiple rounds, dropping him instantly. The rest of the team then opened fire, dropping 2 more enemy fighters before the rest took off running down the backside of the ridge. Unfortunately for the enemy, once again, the drone overhead continued to track them with its IR laser, making it all too easy for the operators to follow them. The team quickly sprinted to the ridgeline where they were able to spot the enemy fighters racing down the backside of the hill. One of the DevGru operators noticed an RPG laying on the ground next to one of the fighters they just took out, so he snatched it and fired off a rocket at the fighters sprinting down the hill. The rocket hit right next to them, peppering them with shrapnel as they ran. Then, just as the operators were about to make their way down the hill, they heard their favorite words come over the radio: CAS on station, which meant an AC-130 gunship had just arrived overhead to provide close air support. So the operators sat tight on the ridgeline and watched the AC-130's 20mm cannon pound the enemy fighters. When the gunship finished its run, the operators made their way down the ridge with their combat assault dog, nicknamed Hair Missile, and began searching the area to make sure no hostile fighters had survived. The AC-130 spotted one hostile fighter as he ran into a nearby building and multiple unknown heat signatures in a nearby field. So the team split off, with 2 operators going after the fighter in the building, while Bissonette and the rest of the team started clearing the field. The grass in the field was waist deep high, so it was the perfect hiding place for the enemy, but that didn't slow the team's Hair Missile down at all. The K9 very quickly caught the scent of an enemy fighter and took off through the grass. After a few seconds of silence, the team could hear an enemy fighter screaming and begging for mercy as the dog attacked. So they pulled the dog back and threw a couple hand grenades in the direction of the screams. While the rest of the team checked to make sure the grenades did the job, Bissonette continued clearing the field, when suddenly he stepped on what he originally thought was a log, but once he put pressure on it, it gasped for air. So he jumped back and opened fire on the enemy fighter. But after investigating the body, he could see that the enemy fighter had been taken out by the 20mm cannon, and the pressure from his foot must have just forced the air out of his lungs. At the same time, the 2 operators who went after the guy in the building quickly eliminated that Taliban fighter, which means all hostile fighters had been eliminated and it was time to wrap things up. When all was said and done, the team had eliminated more than 10 hostile fighters and suffered 0 casualties. And with that, guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. Most of the info for this story is coming from the book No Easy Day, written by Matt Bissonette under the pen name Mark Owen. I will have a link for you dudes to buy this book down in the description, and I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic book full of stories just like this one. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you could leave a like and share this video with some friends, it would really help me out and make sure more people get to hear this incredible story. I've had a lot of people tell me they aren't seeing my videos anymore, so I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned for the time being, which isn't surprising, but any likes or shares to help me with that issue would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, guys, get off the internet and go spend some time with your loved ones and go to the gym today. Fitness is extremely important, and it's a new year, so it's the perfect time to start getting healthier. But above all else, guys, read the Bible and spend some time in prayer today. Like I said, it's a new year, so if you've never prayed or read the Bible, it's a great time to try something new. But enough of me talking. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next video.